Hello everyone, welcome back to Clement Consultancy YouTube channel again. And today's in episode 20, we're going to discuss the 8 systematic way to exit a property. So without further ado, let's go deep in. Okay, so we want to understand what are the considerations when exiting a property and how to secure strong capital profit margin, and of course at the same time outsize your current asset. That means it's from a 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom, you upgrade to a bigger size. Okay, so over here, the common question here is, should I sell my property in today's market? I think this lingers to a lot of our property owners, where you see that the property prices now are inching up every single month. Okay, but the golden question is also over here. When you sell high and you buy high, is it logical as well? Okay, a lot of people has this tendency when you see HDB price index, private resale price index inching up every single month, you will say that yeah, as a seller, you feel happy to sell high. But is it logical to buy high as well? So let's look into this topic and we discuss in further details. Okay, so as usual, I'm going to show you a case study. So this is a District 7 South Bank 2-bedroom unit, bought 1.2 million, rented out at 4,500. After minusing off everything, the passive income comes back at $1,000. Okay, so how many of you will exit if you have an offer of $1.5 million? So to some, it's a 300,000 capital gain. But to some people, right, it's actually, hey, this is a long-term passive cash cow where I get to have a passive income of $1,000 a month. Yeah, so it's actually depends on which stage of property ownership are you at. Okay, so I'm going to discuss further details over here. Yeah, so but before we proceed further, I'd like to showcase to you what is the price movement of the South Bank based on 2008 period to 2002 January period. Okay, and I break down in finer detail. So this condominium TOP in 2010, okay, this property TOP in 2010 start launching in 2008 period, okay, where the prices actually pick up. Developers stitch out the prices from close to 800 PSF until 1,005 when they reach TOP. Okay, a good capital gain and lock-in profit for the owners who bought earlier. And subsequently, we saw that these prices further peaked for another 2 years, that ending around 2013 period by going up another further $300 to $400 PSF. Okay, so for the people who owns a property during TOP, right, there's a possibility that prices may inch up. Okay, so disclaimer here, it doesn't mean all properties will go up, but certain properties, if you buy it correctly, right, the prices will inch up by a certain margin again, at least 200 to 300 PSF thereabout. Okay, after that, when it reached 2 years after TOP, right, that is where we call this the stagnant stage. So for South Bank, you can see that the prices actually goes down to below 2,000 PSF and hover around there for a period of time, and in this case for a period of 10 years. Right, so that is what the case study in South Bank. So let's look at another case example, Coco Pumps. Okay, so as usual, Coco Pumps was launched around 1,000 PSF and TOP in 2018 period, and the price around there was around 1,250 to 1,300 PSF. Subsequently, right, upon TOP, right, we do not see prices moving up that much as what we see in South Bank. Probably because that area has a lot of condominium and is at mass market condominium. So it actually benefits people who bought earlier and not during the last few stages where it's close to TOP. Okay, so this is a classic example what I mentioned just now. Not all condominiums will appreciate during TOP. Okay, so in this case, Coco Pump does not really appreciate that much after TOP, and subsequently the price stays stagnant for the next 5 years. Okay, so before we want to proceed further, right, we must understand the 8 critical exit factors that I actually showcased to all of you. Basically, number 1, you need to know which stage are you in now. Are you in the initial stage, where I discussed in the previous episode 14, the 3 stages of property ownership, or are you in the growth stage? Or ultimately, are you in the yield stage? Yield stage usually happens for clients who are reaching beyond 55 years old, semi-retire. They own property to collect passive income, and along the way, they may also exchange property for good capital gains as well. This will further help them beef up their retirement, their desired retirement amount. Okay, the second factor over here, has your condominium exceeded the last peak price? Okay, and next one, is there a possibility that you can cash out and restructure? Okay, I actually mentioned in episode 16 how to actually using ETL to cash out and restructure. basically is to buy a property. Along the way when you see capital gain, right, you can have the option of keeping this property, take out this money and down pay for your spouse's second property without paying additional buyer's stamp duty. Okay, so that is legalized, but I just want to showcase to you there are many different possibilities. So for some of my clients, they will totally sell this property, take this money, sell one and buy two. So each husband own one, wife will own one. Okay, so it really depends on your needs. And I would like to discuss more in-depth with you if you were to PM me, so I can go with you for in-depth discussion. Okay, so for this case study purposes, I'm going to put it this way: cash out and restructure. There are many ways, but just exploring various options for you. Okay, and is there a strong profit margin in this house? So same thing, it resonates with point 3 as well. Before we cash out and restructure, there must be strong profit margin. If you remember my previous episode, what I have mentioned, you must minimum have at least a 6-digit figure gain. Then it makes sense for you to move forward. Alright, and is the property priced at the stagnant period? So assumingly if you are buying into the South Bank and Cocoa Palms and into the stagnant period and you are in your initial stage, please know how to cut loss and move forward. But when you are in the yield stage, right, it's really okay for you to hold this property for long-term passive income. So it's just that you have a golden goose that lays you a golden egg. So different priorities in life, different stages of life, different clients have different needs and expectations. That is why we do a tailored portfolio for every one of our single client. Okay, and of course, number 6, is there a possibility that you upsize your current asset? So there are clients over here, right, who probably start off with a 2-bedroom, but as their family size grows, they need a 3 or 4 bedroom. So we actually upsize their current assets. Okay, so this is one of the exit factor. Is there a possibility for them to upsize their current asset as well? Okay, that means moving from a smaller bedroom to a bigger bedroom with all the above 5 pointers intact. Yeah. And number 7, sorry, any potential upside. That means over here, right, should you be in a Cocoa Palms or South Bank at that stagnant period, right? Is there any potential upside? Okay, I actually leave the question back to you. But if it were me, I will probably cut loss and move on if I'm in the initial and growth stage. But that also means differently if you are in the use stage where you want to collect passive income from rental. Okay, so like I said, different priorities in life. You really have to assess where you stand and what is your objective as well. And of course, which stages of property ownership are you at the current moment. And the last thing, any en bloc potential. We know that condominium exceeding 30 years old has a higher possibility of en bloc potential. But there again, you still need to fulfill the en bloc rules. So for some, I have a client who stays in probably Bedok Court. Yeah, the en bloc doesn't go through, so he was frustrated. He said, I might as well sell the property. To wait for the next en bloc, he don't know when will that happen. So you see, different clients have different needs and expectations. And these are what I summarize over here, the critical 8 exit factors. Alright, so it also boils down to what I always advocate. Regardless of your age, right, there will be a period where we want to retire. And what is the property quantum that we desire to own when we retire? A 500k, a 1 million or 1.5 million or more. It really depends on you. Because at the end of the day, I advocate and I share with my client, please have a roof over your head. But when you reach a certain age, when you want to close to retirement age, right, you can actually right size, or people say downgrade to the property that you want. And you actually cash out the money that you have saved up over the years, plus the capital gains that you gain when you swap properties along the year as well. Okay, yeah. So it's actually quite easy to plan a 3 to 5 year horizon. Do not plan a long-term plan. Plan a 3 to 5 year horizon. That is enough. Okay, and the most objective, the critical objective here is to accumulate profit. Okay, like I mentioned, I always advocate at least a 6-digit figure gain. Then we move on. Alright, yeah. So coming back to this, if the price is stagnant, will you sell? So it depends on whether you are in stage 1, stage 2 or stage 3 period. Stage 1 is the initial period, stage 2 the growth period, and stage 3 the yield period. Okay, it depends on where you stand. Okay, so it's really not a one size fits all kind of thing. Alright, yeah, so I like to quote example from episode 16. You can have one cycle that goes up to 11 years to take the capital gain, versus every 3 years you swap a property. It really depends on you. Okay, so in episode 16, right, this client actually gained 437,000 in 11 years. But some of my clients choose to get a 6-digit capital gain of 150,000 every 3 years by swapping properties and doing more cycles. And I like to also emphasize over here, the critical period is also from age 35 to 55 years old. Because beyond 55, I believe nobody wants to have a high outstanding mortgages, right? And I certainly do not want that to happen to me as well. So proper planning goes a long way. So this 20 years of golden period, right? How many cycles, what are the profit you want, is to really start now and to understand what is your retirement plan. So speak to us and we'll be very glad to work it out the figures with you. Alright, so if you like my episode, appreciate if you can like and share with your loved ones. If there's any questions or inquiries, please feel free to PM us, and I'll see you again in the next episode. Take care and goodbye.